here we go. So today we'll start in standing position to feel how to start to get into the core. You can have your feet hip width apart and pull up through all the toes and press down through the base of the toes. Now, balance is something that is practiced. And then once you have it, it's very much like riding a bike. And the balance happens from creating space in between the ribs, first floating ribs, and the tips of the hips. And that is to spread like a giant toothpick. It's like you're opening your eyes. It's like you're opening your ribs so that the diaphragm will have more space to do an in-breath. So when you breathe in, the belly, the diaphragm bellows down, and then it causes a suction. And if you have a good space in here, your suction is better. That's why when you're pregnant and the uterus starts to push the intestines up, you have reflux because the respiratory tract is congested, and you don't have the same amount of space for the breath, and so you can have a lot of reflux and indigestion. Actually, when I was pregnant, I remember, yes, I would get nausea, and my mother used to get it with all 6 kids. And so I thought, you know what, that's the relaxin hormone. So I just want to give you a little bit of education about hormones. The relaxin hormone would go in, and because it's non-discriminating, it would just soften everything. And so I would have I feel really nauseous, and I think, wait a second, if I redistribute my blood and go running, then it will take all the blood out of the uterus area, the GI tract, and I'll have relief. And I did, like within 10 seconds of the run. So we can use exercise yoga to change how our body is experiencing stress. So here's that space. And then you want to just feel the shoulders come back. So you get a lift right up from the rib cage, and then you extend the arms down. This is called Tadasana, mountain pose. And the pose is done by drawing the rib cage in and up and keeping your chin back slightly so you're lifted from the back. Now the hands extend down and the shoulder blades are down, and you're pulling up from the rib cage. So you're going to stay with your breathing. And as you breathe in, attempt not to expand the rib cage. So take your right hand just below the ribs. And when you inhale, see if you can keep that space from expanding. It might feel like a suck in, but it's really more of a pull up. So I like to liken it to pulling your shirt over your head, and you get that lift from there. So from the side, as you inhale, you keep the rib cage lifted. And then as you exhale, you pull the core in. And then once again, you breathe in, you expand. And then you exhale and you pull the core in. Good. And one more time. So attempting not to expand. Now I'm saying this like, oh, just do it, don't expand. But this took years to have the sensibility in the fibers of the muscles to not go like this, go back and forth. So you're really keeping that space in between the ribs and the hips. Now you can just extend the arms down and take the hands now to the lower abdominals. And that is to have your index finger just in line with your belly button. And you spread the fingers and you're pulling up and in from the rib cage here. So you're still in your standing apart position. And you pull the rib cage back and you pull up from here. This is referred to as a lock. So you're pulling the abdominal wall up, and it's higher and deeper than a Kegel. Kegel's at the bottom. And this is more like a half a giggle, as you know, I like to say, so that, and you're just pulling up and right up from there. So the rib cage is open. And that is creating your longest abdominal wall. And when we practice this, I can already feel the length in my low back. You're going to have a longer low back, which means that when you're on a bicycle and there's compression, you're going to have more space for those discs and more pressure, less pressure because of the sponginess in the discs of the fibers. So, and also you may grow. So at 36, I grew 3/4 of an inch, 36 or 34. Had to get the doctor to take my measurement again. I couldn't believe it at my annual. So you can create space and then over time help to reduce the risk of the degeneration that happens in between the disc, which is why people get shorter. but it's also because of the posture. So there's your space, and you'll just look really official. And I think people often thought I was a police officer because I used to practice a lot in public, and they kind of look at me like I was monitoring. So you'll feel very tall and open. And then to feel the breath, take an inhale and draw the breath right into the back of the nostrils and keep that abdominal wall tight. And then exhale and pull the abdominal wall in. And then again, inhale. I can already feel my back going back. I've been under a lot of stress this morning, I felt, had a lot of technical issues before the presentation. So since 9 o'clock, I've been agonizing. So I can feel that the abdominal wall is pulling back and I'm getting space, and I can feel the back straighten. So this area is pulling up right through your low back. And the abdominal wall, because it stays in when you inhale, inflates. And then when you exhale, comes back. So you're breathing in, you're inhaling without expanding, and exhaling and pulling back. And you can practice this anywhere. This is a great practice to help strengthen the core and to use the respiratory muscles. Okay, so breathing muscles help your core. Now, the next thing is take the arms up and just press the palms together and keep that space in between your ribs and hips. Your shoulder blades are back, so you get that length right from your spine. And you keep lifting while you breathe in and while you exhale. And you're pulling up from the thigh muscles as well. So you feel yourself pull up from your kneecaps lift. You're contracting here, you're lifting here, you're pulling up, pulling back, up and back. And you keep the shoulders dropped. And if it's feeling a little bit nasty on the shoulders, then feel free to take the arms wide, because sometimes you need to get the shoulders to drop and to rise right from that space in between. And breath. Now, as you breathe in and out, and as you keep the body expanding, feel that rise from the rib cage. Keep staying with your breathing. Breath. Breath. Good. And again, this containment is creating expansion in the muscles here. I can really feel this contraction of the core and the spacing in between the vertebrae. And again, the hands at the right width. So if you need to press the palms together, please do. And you're staying with your breathing. Okay, now you can exhale the arms down. Now interlace the fingers and slide the shoulder blades down. Take your inhale, and then as we do, tuck your chin, and you're going to keep all that engagement of the abdominal wall. So you're pulling up, you're creating space in the ribs. You're pulling up through the rib cage, and the shoulder blades are down, and your breathing is steady. And one more breath, keeping the core engaged and up. And exhaling, keeping the core from expanding. Let's just do 2 more. Breathing in, draw the breath into the back of the nostrils, opening the chest and the rib cage. Beautiful. And one more. Keeping the rib cage in, the eyes gaze down, just past the tip of the nose. Okay, lovely. And then let the arms drop. Now, the other way to feel the core and to keep this length is to press down into your standing right leg, come up onto the toes of the left foot. Now, just take your hands to your waist, and if there's somewhere that you could see a mirror or see your reflection on what you're looking at, that would be great. And then you lift the knee, but you attempt to keep your hips dropped the whole time. So you want to press into the standing leg and keep the elbows back slightly and press into that standing leg. If you're feeling fatigue, go into your breath and draw your chin back slightly. So you can keep practicing pressing through that standing leg, and the shoulders are back. And one more breath. And if you wobble, excellent. You're finding new muscle pathways. And then come on down. Okay, just jiggle. Have a little earthquake right from the waist down as you jiggle your knees, shoulders dropped. And then you can press into your left leg, press into that foot, lift, draw your chin back as you press into the standing leg. And again, you're trying not to hike up this side of the waist. You want to see if you can come straight across with each hip bone. And you keep pressing into the standing leg. I can feel the heat, not just because it's super hot in here, but also just the contraction of pulling up in here. What you're doing is containing energy. And this is exactly like if you put on a weight training belt, if you were doing heavy lifting, or, you know, back support belt that gives you that extra band. And that's what you're doing right in here. And then you draw down. Okay, next, coming back into balance, take the left foot up, and then you can press your left foot right onto the inside of your thigh, and you keep your shoulders back. And as you rise from the rib cage, you draw down into the standing foot. And you keep pressing the foot into the thigh to feel your center. Your breathing is steady. Keep pressing that foot to get the knee to rotate to the outside. And one more breath. Drop into that standing leg. The foot presses to rotate out the knee. And then you take that leg down. Have a little earthquake from the waist down. Let the knees bend. Let your whole weight travel down through your feet into the floor. Fantastic. And then you can come on up. Take that right foot up. Lift. Press the foot into the thigh. Rise. Ribs back. Taking the hands together. Feel your center. The way is to focus the eyes in one spot. And I can actually guarantee that you can develop balance. I'm not saying that there won't be some kind of underlying issue potentially that could cause you from not getting balance, but if there isn't, you will develop balance. It's something that starts to become a part of your body as you keep lengthening and anchoring through the standing foot and ascending right from the belly button up. And you're breathing. Keep dropping through that standing leg. And then you can gently release the leg down. Okay, now a little earthquake again. Just let the leg shake out. Okay. A good, exercise to get right in through the side waist is triangle. Triangle is brilliant for getting right in through the external oblique in here. And that muscle basically helps to keep space here again. Pardon me. So you have the right toes turned out and you're gonna just open through the chest, draw your left hip back. So if you had a wall right here and right behind you, that would be how you are, instead of letting the back tip or the hip tip. So you wanna press down through the, pardon me, the right inside of the right foot and press down through the left heel. And that, pardon me, the left heel is turned out so that you're anchoring through the heel as opposed to turned in. And that will help to draw your left hip back. You're open and you draw the left rib cage back. Now you take a deep breath in, rise from the top of the head, and then exhale over to the right and drop down to that right leg. Now take your left arm back as you keep your chin in and as you open from your chest. You're keeping that top left shoulder back and you're gazing towards the ceiling as you're pulling up through your standing leg. Now, if you're here, that's great too. The main thing is try not to turn and rotate down. You're attempting to keep that top left hip back as you come down. So you're really open through the side body and you feel happy because you're getting long. And this will really help to stabilize, again, the left side of your low back and your core. Now I'm hoping there's a really big stretch. You want to reach out from the top of the head as you anchor that back out, rib and hip down. And then you take one more breath. There's, pardon me, just keep that going. There's barely any weight in your front foot. You're trying to keep the weight coming through your back foot mainly. Okay. And then you're on your way up. You breathe in, you lift, you rotate to your left, turn the right heel out, draw your right hip back, or the opposite one. and you're just gazing beyond the middle fingers. You rise from the crown of the head. So you're pulling up from the rib cage, shoulder blades come back, and you feel yourself lift from the top of the spine. Now, as you draw that right hip back or left, come down, and here again, notice that you're not rotating forward. So you keep this arm in line with the ear. I sometimes come back a little further because I find I need that help to get the waist back. And then you come down. You're reaching right out from the top of the head as the shoulder blade comes back, and you're breathing steadily. And you stay with your breath. Just keep that chin in slightly, but the eyes are lifting to the hand or the ceiling. And you keep your chest open. Good. So you can see the triangle. We've got this arm reaching, the top of the head comes out, back hip comes back, leg comes down, and there's your triangle. It's a beautiful pose. It's a lot of breathing to keep the balance. And then you breathe in, come all the way back up. Okay, let go. Bring the legs together. Now the next balance one is a really good counterbalance for that side. And I'm going to show the pose, and I would love if you put your bum up against the wall or somewhere, the fridge, the bookshelf, so that your butt is supported. Now it doesn't have to be, but I want you to just imagine I've got a wall pressing against my bum, and I'm going to take my right leg up, and I'm going to take the right leg over the left, and then my lower leg wraps. So you might get that. You might wrap around. And then you take the same arm, the right arm on top, and you let your hips sit back as you go into your breathing. And you let your core draw back. Keep opening through the hip. Breath. 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 And 2 more breaths. Folding the hips back. The bend in the knees can be high like this. Sorry about that. I should have told you at the beginning. Or you might go a little bit lower. Just feel for the best way to open your hips. And then you come all the way back up. Uncross that right leg. And now lift your left leg and really lift that hip. Come across. Bring that left arm over. Whoa. Bum against the wall or free. Let your hips sit back. We're really strengthening the low legs, and we're using the wrap of the hip around. And breath, letting your hips sit back. Stay with your breathing. Core and balance. Core pulls in. That really sends your low back back. And then on your next in-breath, draw up, lift, uncross that leg. And that's it for core. And now you'll come down onto all fours, and you can take your arms right underneath your shoulders. Now have your knees just hip width apart and come on into bum circles. Just let your tailbone be like a stir stick, coming around, and then coming in the other direction, opening through the hips. I also like this for the knees as well. You're getting some movement into the patella, the kneecap, and then it can come on right into seated position. Now we'll come into breath of joy, that being so good for the respiratory muscles. And we'll do 27 pumps, and we breathe in, and then you do the strong exhale as you throw the arms up. And we'll do 3 rounds of 27. Here we go, breathing in. And releasing. And of course, if this is too much through the shoulders, because I just realized who I'm talking to, if it is too much through the shoulders, then you can take the arms out and you can go half the speed. You can go wider, turning the palms in towards you. And then you can do an exhale like this. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Because I remember that you would take this a little easier in class if the shoulders are a bit, fragile. And now we'll go into another round, breathing in 27 pumps. And let the arms go. Relax. Just let your shoulders completely drop, lengthening through your spine. Stay with your breath. We'll take in 2 more regular breaths. Again, keeping that length in your spine, just as we began. And here we go. And again, breathing in. And then relax. 3 full regular breaths, keeping your length in your spine. Keeping the ribs lifted. Okay, now I'm going to show you one of the best ones for cycling as far as the side core. I'm going to show you 2 versions. One is the supersonic, I feel really strong, and I have strong core one. And it might be, you know, a possibility to do this with your knee bent, as we've done. So you're opening through the chest. The main thing is pull up from the core here. And keep the top of the foot that's down, pressing down. If you come into the lengthened version, what you can do is you can take your top leg in front or behind and work on the underside lifting. And that way you keep the engagement of the core. You can really feel that working right in the side, and then just do a little giggle, a little, because that's the best way to get your core. And just another one, a little. Okay, good. And then come on down. Now, the next way to do this, and maybe you've come to this, is to take the elbow right underneath the shoulder. So you're going to have the lift right from the underside waist. The top arm can come up. And again, if you need to widen your base or bend your underside knee, still do the lift of the underside waist. And breath. Keep the core pulling in, the shoulder blade is back. And you stay with your breathing. Again, keep pulling in from the core, and then you can gently release. Okay, come on to the other side, and either coming into your full plank, rising from the rib cage, your feet are stacked and the rib cage is open. Keep the shoulder blade back, and again, of course, you might have the leg in front, behind, whichever position gives you a wide base. You might bend the underside knee, press the top of the foot down, take the arm up, either position. Feel the underside waist lifting. Here we go with that expanded rib cage again, creating space in between the diaphragm and the hips, mainly breathing and giggling. So a little giggle, little. The shoulder blade back. Okay, now come down. See if you're not down already for the elbow version, and you take the lift of the rib cage, opening through the chest, keep the ribs coming in, keep the shoulder blade back, stay with your breath. Breath, excellent. Good, of course your leg could be behind, you could bend the underside knee, just keep the lift of the rib cage in either position, and then you can gently release. Okay, that's it, that's all we're gonna do for core. Now we'll come right down and do a counter stretch with the bolster, taking the bolster right underneath your low back. So come on in while I get more and more water in me, and let your whole body rest back. Have your shoulders rest. And begin the counter stretch from your abdominals into your low back by bending both knees in wide. Come into your breath. And then do a gentle rock side to side. Staying with your breath. Great. And then you can let your heels come down completely. Rest the arms again. And press the shoulder blades back and under. So you have that length right from the back of the shoulders to your pubic bone. Just letting go. And as you feel the weight of your tailbone on the bolster, just notice if you need to wriggle the shoulder blades under a bit more to make sure the neck is long and free. Now we'll take the right ankle, hug the right ankle in, and then take your left leg out. And it's the knee rather that's coming in, and you want to come right into circles, coming around. And then in the other direction. And now you can bend that right knee in, pull in really snug as your left leg's out there. Okay, great. And now you can take the right leg up in the air. Come on into toe circles. And then bend the knee down again. This time pull it in close, just close to the belly button, getting into a different area of the low back as the elbows bend and your left leg is reaching out. And you keep inhaling and exhaling. Wonderful. And then gently release that right leg. Either have the leg straight or bent and let yourself go again. If you have the knees bent, that'll be more weight on your tailbone and it might feel like a better stretch through your low back. So just notice what feels like your best length as you breathe. Excellent. Keep on letting go. Good. Keep on feeling the front body open as you breathe. Excellent. Now you can hug the left leg in, let the right leg straighten. Pull the knee to the outside to get a little deeper stretch. Really pull in. Breath, breath. Squeezing in through the colon on that left side, descending colon. And breath. Excellent. And then you can bring the leg up in the air and just pulling the leg back towards you. Come on into toe circles. And other direction. Good. And then you can just let that heel drop. Pull the knee into the middle. Let your elbows bend as you pull in. Keep that right leg gently reaching out. Breath. And then you can gently release that left leg down. Both knees are bent. Relax the arms to the side once again and let go. Just feel the entire spine releasing into the floor. Good. Lots of space in the vertebrae. Now we're going to practice the bandhas, the locks, as I taught them at the beginning. I want you to take your right hand and place it just across the belly, so your middle finger is across your belly button. Now take an inhale and see if you can keep the belly from rising. And notice if you feel an inner pressure, intra-abdominal, inner pressure right in your low back as it presses down into the bolster a bit more. And then when you exhale, you still have the abdominals in, and you pull them in a bit more if there is a squeeze left. And then when you inhale, see if you can keep the abdominal wall down. You're really expanding. And then exhale and press the abdominal wall in and back. And one more time. Breathing in, feel the abdominal wall expand. And exhale, feel the abdominal wall pull in. Good. And then you can gently release the arm. Now completely let go. Feel the front body open. And we'll take a few minutes to let the body release. Stay with your breathing in silence. Notice the legs. If you need to change position to let yourself go more, please do. Keep on letting go. Taking another 2 minutes. Keep on breathing and letting go. And as you do, you're taking in all the sounds around you. Just let them be a part of the whole field of your awareness. So you feel a soft mind, one that isn't grasping or holding into any thought in particular. Keep on letting go. And take one more minute to continue to let go. And then on your next in-breath, make it deeper and do let the abdominal wall expand. So none of that holding in right now. You're going to let everything expand. Good. And then on the next one, take a deep inhale. Don't let the abdominal wall expand. Take the right hand and keep the abdominal wall up, and it will be a little bit of a gap or flat or not as high. And as you take an in-breath, you're going to see if you can keep the abdominal wall in so the breath will come back. And try that. And try that for 2 more breaths. As you breathe in, the abdominal wall stays pulled up and back, and you have that length. And I'm going to check in with you at the end to see if that worked. This is an art. It is very much about the ribs pulled up. So that's that feeling that you've got lots of space in the ribs, and they're up and back, and you're not tightening anywhere, the shoulders. It's just pull up. It's just pull up of the skin. And then deep inside, it's that half a giggle. You're pulling in to keep the abdominal wall long, and that will help again to work into your largest breath for the diaphragm to have lots of space. And then gently relax that and let yourself go again. Come into a straightening of the legs to open up in through the quads and in through the fronts of the thighs, and press your shoulder blades under so you can open up through your rib cage and stay with your breathing. Yeah, just keep on staying with your breath. Take one more minute of breathing. Good. And then on your next inhale again, nice expansion. Feel the abdominal wall expand. This is a brilliant position to get that length. And exhale. Now take the right hand again. See if you can keep the abdominal wall pulled up and back to let the breath go further in and into your back. You're squeezing this canister of your torso in and up. And do that again on your inhale. See if you can keep the abdominal wall pulled up and back. So you're open through the chest and the ribs. Excellent. And then let the arm drop. Bend your knees. And now we're going to just take the bolster right underneath your legs. So if you're not there already, and because I know that can be a nicer position for the legs, and then have your feet right over the bolster. And once again, come on into your relaxed position. So today we're really emphasizing the ability to let the abdominal walls pull in. So we'll try that here. I want you to take your right hand on the belly. Inhale and feel the ribs pulled up. and keep them pulled in. And on your exhale, pull in a little more. So you're pulling up the ribs. And on your inhale, see if you can keep the ribs pulled up. And then exhale and pull back in through the core. And again, inhale and expand in through the belly. And sorry, don't expand through the belly. Have it. And then exhale and pull in. Inhale and keep the belly wall lifted back and up. And exhale and release. And 2 more times. Breathing in, feel the belly not rise. And then exhale and keep the abdominal wall pulling up and in. And then 1 more. Breathing in, open, 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 expanding there. And exhale, let the abdominal wall draw in. And relax the arm, release. Good, letting go. And now you can take the soles of your feet together and just let the knees splay out so you're getting a nice stretch for the inner thighs. Very good for cycling as well. And if you need to just adjust and pull the tights up or anything, just get the knees to completely flop. Now take the hands and do the rub of the inner thigh. So you're rubbing right from the backs of the knees on the inside, right up to the pubic bone. And you can move up and down with your hands. And the elbows are back. So you get a slight bend in the elbows unless you need the full reach of your arm length. Keep on coming up and down. Breath. Breath. And then relax the hands, letting go. Let your arms go to the side. Now to come into the working on the side core, take the hands behind the head and press the elbows back. And if you need to adapt this for the shoulders, feel free to have the arms out to the side like a right angle if it's too much to open up the shoulders that way for the neck or in the shoulder joint. And then you would bend over to your side and you'll come over. So it's going to look like you're in a stick up and you're going to come over to that side. Unless you have your hands back, and then you would press your elbows back. So you can lengthen right out from that side. And the elbows press back as you open up through the chest and the rib cage. You stay with your breathing. Keep on opening. Again, keep the elbows pressing back to lengthen open through the side waist. Beautiful. And then you can breathe in, come on over to your right side. Press that left elbow back, lengthening out from the rib cage. Keep both shoulder blades pressing back. Breath. Breath. And then on your next inhale, come on back to the center. Relax the arms up and out. So you're going to reach out through the fingertips, spread through the fingers, and then take the hands to the ceiling. Come on into wrist circles. This is also good for cycling. To keep, sometimes people will get a lot of tension in the forearms and that can create numb hands. It can also be from the shoulders. So this is a really good stretch, is to pull the fingers down, take the hand, pull the fingers down towards the forearm to get the top part that's always holding on to the handlebars. And then you take that arm across and you pull just above the nipple line, pull across and let your head relax back so the gaze will be towards the ceiling if the eyes are open. And you pull that arm well across. And nice deep breath. Excellent. And then you can breathe in and take that right hand down. Pull the fingers down towards the forearm. Get that stretch of the wrist to the ceiling, lengthening through the top arm. And then you can exhale over to your left. Take that arm across. Taking in a nice deep breath. Really good. And then you can breathe in and release the hands and let go once again. Take the soles of the feet together. Let the knees just splay out. Letting your upper body rest back. Now we'll come into the side stretch again. The hands come behind the head. You're interlacing the fingers. Press the shoulder blades back and under. Bend over to your left side and press both elbows back as you fan open the right rib cage. And stay with your breathing. Breath. Breath. Beautiful. And then you can breathe in. Come on over to the right side. Take the left elbow back. Press. Breathe open that left side. Nice streaming long breaths coming in through the nostrils. Into the back of the throat is the feeling of a long breath. And then you come back to your center. Release the arms again. And once again, let the legs come right out over the bolster. And here you go, letting go again. Let your palms roll up to the ceiling. We'll be here for a few minutes to feel the back of the body release into the floor. Letting your shoulders go. Keep on releasing. One thing that I find is so helpful is as you know, I'll have you wriggle the shoulder blades under and then spread them apart. So your upper back is under and you've got the longer neck and the shoulders are down away from the ears. And also just notice if there's any part of your body that feels like it can soften more. And then just press down, press your belly in using all that newfound core pull up. And that helps you to press your back down. So you can pull the belly button in and press your back down. And just find little places where you might need to press down more. As you stay with your breath. Keep on breathing and letting go. And one more minute of releasing. And then in your next in-breath, take in a deeper breath. Take the hands right to the inside of the body, alongside, and not the inside, that wouldn't work. And then just take your feet right, I got very relaxed there. Just let your feet come right to the top of the bolster. Now do a sway with your feet slightly apart to release in your low back. Lovely. Now you can gently roll over, come on onto your side and just take the hand under either side and let your body lie in fetal position. Now you can take your top leg out and reach that heel out and then pull the leg up as high as you can and hold on behind the calf and pull the toes back towards you. Now you can let your underside arm come out and then take your top arm back and spill back and gaze back towards that hand. You're pulling back strongly through the waist and your gaze is in that opposite direction. Your chin is up to keep the neck long and the throat open. And then 2 more breaths. On your exhale, practice that abdominal wall really pulling up and in. And then on your next inhale, roll all the way back onto your back. And then you can roll exactly to your other side. So I'll just show you from this side. You've got your arm under, and I can't because I've got to go to the other side. Get some more room here. Your bolster, if you can just nudge it out of the way for this one, and then come on down onto your side. And you can take that top leg up. You're going to reach the heel up, pull back from the toes, and get that heel reaching. Stay with your breath. Again, keep the heel reaching out. Breath. Breath. Okay, lovely. And then you can take that leg in and you're going to just, oh, isn't that funny? I can't believe it. That leg straightens and then you tip, is that right? You tip and you, whatever your opposite knee is, come across. Lordy, and come right over and let your whole body open. Letting yourself spill back on the floor as you open the shoulder and the chest. Keep your breathing steady. And one more full breath. And then you can breathe in, draw all the way back up. Lovely. Now we're going to roll over onto all fours position and take the hands right underneath the shoulders. Now, hands under, take an in-breath, arc the back, lift the eyes, and then exhale and round your spine, just pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. And then breathing it, gaze up, lift the chin, and then exhale and round again, pressing the tops of the feet down. And inhale, gaze up, lift the eyes, arc the back, and then exhale and round, pressing the tops of the feet down. And once more, breathe in, gaze up, lift the eyes, arc. And here you go, exhale, round the spine. Okay, wonderful. Now we take the right arm under and you're going to come on onto the outside of that right shoulder. And you can either keep your left hand down on the floor as you get that arm weaved across, or you can take the left arm up and once again come into a spinal rotation. You're gazing to the ceiling as the shoulder comes back, opening through the chest, breath. And then you can take that arm down and then pushing back up. Here we go, take the arm across, get on the outside of that left shoulder, get the arm over as much as you can. Breath. And then you can take that right arm up if you are. Bring the arm behind, stay with your breath. Breath.
And then you can take that arm down and lift. Now we'll take the hands further forward than the shoulders, walk the knees back. And then from this position, I'm going to just demonstrate that we're going to come into Sphinx pose, which is a really gentle yet strong way to open up the lungs. And we're opening up all the musculature that are around the lungs. And what I find for many people is the breath isn't very deep because the muscles in this area aren't activated. So when you're pressing down through your feet, that will pull your tailbone down. And then to come into a full activation of the lungs, you press the elbows down, take your hands off the floor, and feel as if you're piercing your elbows right through the mat. Now gaze up just as high as feels natural, and you're lifting your chin slightly and press the tops of the feet down. Now press your hands and forearms down and keep the feet actively pressing down as you lift the eyes. Stay with your breath with the tail tucked. And with that tail tucked, you're also pulling up through the front core just as we began. Everything is active, arms, legs, core. Breathing in and out through the nose. Two more breaths, really strong. One more full breath. And then you can exhale and come down. Now you take the hands to make a pillow right underneath the chin. You're looking straight ahead, and then you can take the heels up, just let them be floppy, and then crisscross the ankles. So you're just like a kid watching TV. And you want to just let go into the floor. Everything softens. Now you can take the heels in and pull the heels in towards you. Flex the feet to point the toes away, and then press the knees down and press into the elbows and gaze ahead. And keep the shoulders pressing down so you're not pushing forward. And that will help to get the shoulder open at the front as you're pulling your heels into your body and your breathing is full. And then you can gently release, let down. Totally let go. Now you can take your hands right beside your chest, bend your knees, lift, come all the way up. And now just come on into kneeling position. And if that is okay for the back. And then come into your tall spine so you get that lift right from the rib cage. And then tip over to your left side. Now we'll take the top right leg across. And then you want to take the underside ankle out and pull the ankle up tight so you're coming up really snug on that thigh. Now you keep the lift from the rib cage and you practice that rise that we were doing of pulling the rib cage in. And you take the arms up and you can either have your rise from your hips like this, lifting, or you can take one hand behind and come into your lift and just keep your shoulders back as you rise. Keep the length in your spine. Keep your breathing steady as the shoulders slide down. And we got one more breath. And then you can gently release and come down. Okay, there's two ways to do this, to change legs. One is to rotate towards this top foot and you come around, or you can take the other leg on cross on top. So here's the feet do not move, they stay put. You rotate to the side. You come all the way around and then voila, you're in the other side. And you can take that underside leg out so you get both bum bones down. And you keep the lift from your rib cage. Really rise, listening to the knees and the ankles. Technically, the feet are soft. And you keep that lift from the rise, that lift from the rib cage. Feel that core extending you up. Take the arms up, or if you can take one hand behind, get your rise from your rib cage as you lengthen and stay with your breath. Keeping the lift, stay with your breath. And up. Excellent. Breath. Keeping the lift. And then you can let the arms down.
Okay, great. So you've got your lift from the rib cage. And then from here, if you need to take the ankles out a little bit, like the top ankle out further, you're going to fall forward in either position. So feel for the best stretch to get onto the outside of the low back and release the weight of the head completely. Come into your breathing in and out through the nose. And then you can breathe in and lift. Come all the way back up. Now we'll uncross that top leg, and we'll do this the easy way. Take your heel under, take the leg over, take the foot out, get the bum down on both sides, rise from your rib cage, and then you can release and exhale. Come into your breath. Good, and just stay with your breath. Good breath. And then you can breathe in and draw all the way back up. Okay, really good. Now you can uncross that leg and you have the knees together just as you began. And you're going to take the heel that's in closest. So let's have the left heel coming in. I'm wishing that's where you are. And then you take the right heel out. Now, the other way to lengthen the core is to come into a side stretch. And instead of doing triangle, you come right to the front of the bum bones as much as you can. And it also helps to pull your butt cheeks back so you can get right up to the front. It's your bum. You can pull it back. And then you reach out right from the heel and you want to lift and lengthen out from the rib cage and let your shoulder come back as you extend out and stay with your breath. Really lift, coming up. Lengthen. And then you can release. Take that arm down and then take your heel in close. Let's take this leg in front and lifting right from the bum bones. And oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It's so warm in here. I'm losing my focus in that. I think we folded forward first, maybe. So coming forward or come to the outside. I think we came to the outside. Wow. You're lifting from the rib cage, just lengthen out from the side of the waist as you pull the toes back. So go into the opposite side, whatever that is, get your good reach, lengthen, and then you can breathe in. Draw all the way back. And now you can bend that knee in. And we'll take the soles of the feet together and hold on to the soles of the feet and turn the feet up to the ceiling. You can keep the hands right on the top and then exhale and fold yourself forward. So you're going to get a really good lean. Lengthening out. Stay with your breath. Breath. Reaching. Breath. And then you can come on all the way back up. Okay, we'll take the bolster again and you can start with your feet over the bolster and your knees right on the top of the bolster. And I'm gonna have some more water. So keep that, get your whole body resting back as you release into the floor. Let everything go. And feel the entire weight of your body release into the floor. We're going to come right into Shavasana. So let your shoulders go and let that space in between the shoulders rest back. Feel the palms roll up to the ceiling and the fingers naturally curl. And just notice if there's any way you can let go more, even if it's just to smooth the forehead or to relax the scalp. Anything that you need to do to let go. And as you let go, feel the entire front body soften. Feel how the belly rises as you inhale through the nose and drops as you exhale through the nose. As you let go into silence, give yourself a vacation from any thoughts. See if you can just stay with your breath. I'll come in and out with little reminders to help you stay in your breath. Feeling the belly rise on your inhale and sink on your exhale. Keep on feeling the weight of the body against the floor and how much you can let go. The belly rising on the inhale and sinking on your exhale. Feeling the belly rise on your inhale and sinking on your exhale. And take 3 more minutes to let yourself go. And just finishing the 3 minutes, taking a deeper breath, feel the belly expand. And exhale. And again, nice deep breath, expand and exhale. Lovely. And then you can take your arms up overhead, reach through the fingertips, spread the fingers, press the backs of the arms into the floor. Your chest is open. And then you can exhale and let the arms come right down alongside the body. Bend the knees and take the feet right to the top of the bolster. Now just do a little sway side to side. Once again, getting that nice massage action in through your side of your low back. And then you take the legs up in the air, come into happy baby, bending the knees to the outside. Let the elbows bend to pull the legs in. Get the tailbone up high as you reach the heels towards the head side of the body. And then you can gently release the legs down. Great. Now come on over to your left side and you can roll up into seated position from there. And then the next thing that I wanted to do, and Shirley, this was really to teach what I've just taught, and that is, just get the light on here. And that was to teach that ability to feel the space in between the ribs and the hips. So if you want to turn on your camera,